Sahih Bukhari Book 3, Knowledge, Hadith number 56, narrated by Abu Huraira. While the Prophet was saying something in a gathering, a Bedouin came and asked him, when would the hour take place? Allah's apostle continued his talk, so some people said that Allah's apostle had heard the question, but did not like what that Bedouin had asked. Some of them said that Allah's apostle had not heard it. When the Prophet finished his speech, he said, "Where is the questioner who inquired about the hour?" The Bedouin said, "I am here, O Allah's apostle." Then the Prophet said, "When honesty is lost, then wait for the hour." The Bedouin said, "How will persons then wait for the hour?" Hadith number 57, narrated by Abdullah bin Amr. Once the Prophet remained behind us in a journey. He joined us while we were performing ablution for the prayer which was overdue. We were just passing wet hands over our feet, so the Prophet addressed us in a loud voice and said twice or thrice, "Save your heels from the fire." Hadith number 58, narrated by Ibn Umar. Allah's apostle said, "Amongst the trees there is a tree, the leaves of which do not fall, and is like a Muslim. Tell me the name of that tree." Everybody started thinking about the trees of the desert areas, and I thought of the date palm tree but felt shy to answer. The others then asked, "What is that tree, O Allah's apostle?" He replied, "It is the date palm tree." Hadith 59, 60, 61, 62, same as above. Hadith number 63, narrated by Anas bin Malik. While we were sitting with the Prophet in the mosque, a man came riding on a camel. He made his camel kneel down in the mosque, tied its foreleg, and then said, "Who amongst you is Muhammad?" At that time the Prophet was sitting amongst us, his companions leaning on his arm. We replied, "This white man reclining on his arm." The then addressed him, "O son of Abdul Muttalib." The Prophet said, "I am here to answer your questions." The man said to the Prophet, "I want to ask you something and will be hard in questioning, so do not get angry." The Prophet said, "Ask whatever you want." The man said, "I ask you by your Lord, and the Lord of those who were before you, has Allah sent you as an apostle to all the mankind?" The Prophet replied, "By Allah, yes." The man further said, "I ask you by Allah, has Allah ordered you to offer 5 prayers in a day and night?" He replied, "By Allah, yes." The man further said, "I ask you by Allah, has Allah ordered you to observe fasts during this month of the year?" He replied, "By Allah, yes." The man further said, "I ask you by Allah, has Allah ordered you to take zakat from our rich people and distribute it amongst our poor people?" The Prophet replied, "By Allah, yes." Thereupon that man said, "I have believed in all that with which you have been sent, and I have been sent by my people as a messenger, and I am Dimam bin Thalaba from the brothers of Bani Sa'd bin Bakr." Hadith number 64, narrated by Abdullah bin Abbas. Once Allah's apostle gave a letter to a person and ordered him to go and deliver it to the governor of Bahrain. And the governor of Bahrain sent it to Chowsros, who read that letter and then tore it to pieces. The sub-narrator Ibn Shihab thinks that Ibn al-Musayyab said that Allah's apostle invoked Allah against them. May Allah tear them into pieces and disperse them all totally. Hadith number 65, narrated by Anas bin Malik. Once the Prophet wrote a letter or had an idea of writing a letter. The Prophet was told that they would not read letters unless they were sealed. So the Prophet got a silver ring made with Muhammad Allah's apostle engraved on it, as if I were just observing its white glitter in the hand of the Prophet. Hadith number 66, narrated by Abu Waqid al-Laythi. While Allah's apostle was sitting in the mosque with some people, 3 men came. 2 of them came in front of Allah's apostle, and the third one went away. The 2 persons kept on standing before Allah's apostle for a while, and then one of them found a place in the circle and sat there while the other sat behind the gathering, and the third one went away. When Allah's apostle finished his preaching, he said, "Shall I tell you about these 3 persons?" One of them betook himself to Allah, so Allah took him into his grace and mercy and accommodated him. The second felt shy from Allah, so Allah sheltered him in his mercy, while the third turned his face from Allah and went away, so Allah turned his face from him likewise. Hadith number 67, narrated by Abdurrahman bin Abi Bakr's father. Once the Prophet was riding his camel, and a man was holding its rein. The Prophet asked, "What is the day today?" We kept quiet, thinking that he might give that day another name. He said, "Isn't it the day of Nar slaughtering of the animals of sacrifice?" We replied, "Yes." He further asked, "Which month is this?" We again kept quiet, thinking that he might give it another name. Then he said, "Isn't it the month of Dhul-Hijjah?" We replied, "Yes." He said, "Verily, your blood, property, and honor are sacred to one another like the sanctity of this day of yours. in this month of yours and in this city of yours, it is incumbent upon those who are present to inform those who are absent, because those who are absent might comprehend better than the present audience. Hadith number 68, narrated by Ibn Mas'ud. The Prophet used to take care of us in preaching by selecting a suitable time, so that we might not get bored. He abstained from pestering us with sermons and knowledge all the time. Hadith number 69, narrated by Anas bin Malik. The Prophet said, facilitate things to people concerning religious matters, and do not make it hard for them, and give them good tidings and do not make them run away. Hadith number 70, narrated by Abu Wail. Abdullah used to give a religious talk to the people on every Thursday. Once a man said, O Aba Abdurrahman, I wish if you could preach us daily. He replied, the only thing which prevents me from doing so is that I hate to bore you, and no doubt I take care of you in preaching by selecting a suitable time, just as the Prophet used to do with us, for fear of making us bored. Hadith number 71, narrated by Muawiyah. I heard Allah's apostle saying, if Allah wants to do good to a person, He makes him comprehend the religion. I am just a distributor, but the grant is from Allah. And remember that this nation will keep on following Allah's teachings strictly, and they will not be harmed by anyone going on a different path till Allah's order is established. Hadith number 72, narrated by Ibn Umar. We were with the Prophet, and a spadix of date palm tree was brought to him. On that he said, amongst the trees there is a tree which resembles a Muslim. I wanted to say that it was the date palm tree, but as I was the youngest of all I kept quiet. And then the Prophet said, it is the date palm tree. Hadith number 73, narrated by Abdullah bin Mas'ud. The Prophet said, do not wish to be like anyone except in two cases: a person whom Allah has given wealth and he spends it righteously, the one whom Allah has given wisdom and he acts according to it and teaches it to others. Hadith number 74, narrated by Ibn Abbas, that he differed with Hur bin Qais bin Hisan al-Fazari regarding the companion of Moses. Ibn Abbas said that he was Qadir. Meanwhile, Ubay bin Ka'b passed by them, and Ibn Abbas called him, saying, my friend and I have differed regarding Moses' companion whom Moses asked the way to meet. Have you heard the Prophet mentioning something about him? He said, yes, I heard Allah's apostle saying, while Moses was sitting in the company of some Israelites, a man came and asked him, do you know anyone who is more learned than you? Moses replied, no. So Allah sent the divine inspiration to Moses. Yes, our slave Qadir. Moses asked how to meet him. So Allah made the fish as a sign for him, and he was told that when the fish was lost, he should return and there he would meet him. So Moses went on looking for the sign of the fish in the sea. The servant boy of Moses said to him, do you remember when we betook ourselves to the rock? I indeed forgot the fish. None but Satan made me forget to remember it. On that Moses said, that is what we have been seeking. So they went back, retracing their footsteps, and found Qadir. What happened further to them is narrated in the Holy Quran by Allah. Hadith number 75, narrated by Ibn Abbas. Once the Prophet embraced me and said, O Allah, bestow on him the knowledge of the book.